In today's video, we're going to be doing a direct comparison in between the Inogen Rove 6 and the Main Clinic Supply Vita-Ox HD7. For those who don't know, this is the device that we just launched here at Main Clinic Supply. We heavily vetted this machine to make sure it's going to be the best for our customers, to make sure that we're going to provide you with the best concentrator that's out there on the market currently. Most people have heard of Inogen that have been around the oxygen world, whether you're a patient, your parents might be on oxygen, um, or if you're like myself, just in the clinical setting of it. Inogen is a big name brand because they do a lot of advertising, but with that advertising also comes lots of costs. So I thought this was going to be a good device that would be to compare our new Main Clinic Supply Vita-Ox HD7 to, since most people on the around oxygen have heard of this device. All right, so we're going to start with just the overall size and weight of both the devices. So the Inogen Rove 6, this one is going to weigh in right about 4.8 pounds with the standard battery. The Main Clinic Supply Vita-Ox HD7, this one is 4.37 pounds, so quite a bit of weight savings just in that itself. And as you can tell, they are slightly different shapes. So the Rove 6 is going to be slightly taller, where the Vita-Ox is going to be a little shorter, just a little bit bigger. Overall is going to be a smaller dimension though, as well. And this is nice. It's just a little bit more compact. Isn't going to sit up as high on your waist while you're walking with it as well, and just a little lower center of gravity while using it. All right, now let's talk about oxygen capabilities. So both of these are pulse devices, but they are going to have slightly different results. So let's start with the Inogen Rove 6. This one is rated up to a setting of 6. And on the top setting of 6, it is rated at 1,260 milliliters of oxygen. Where the Main Clinic Supply Vita-Ox HD7, it has a 7th setting, and it gets actually 1,400 milliliters of oxygen on that top setting. So for the end user, that is a significant clinical data for the amount of oxygen that you're able to get off of there to help you keep saturated. There's lots of people who we have dealt with who, even on the top setting on the Inogen Rove 6, aren't able to stay saturated, and that little extra that we're able to produce on the Vita-Ox HG7 is very helpful for those patients. That way they still get a lot smaller device, and they can stay a lot more portable and less cumbersome than carrying around heavier tanks. All right, now let's talk about sound. So both these devices are rated at about 39 decibels or less. So let's look at the actual real world study. I do have a handy decibel reader here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys the decibel reading on this. I'm going to set the devices about 10 feet away. That's where we're supposed to be in relation to it to get a good, true decibel reading off the device. And you will hear some discharges of oxygen that will increase that off of both these, but we'll get a good baseline look at both these devices and see where they're rated. So we're going to start with the Inogen Rove 6 first, and I'll set it over there, get it set up, and then we'll get it running for you, and we'll get the decibel readings off of this one first. All right, so now I got the Rove 6 powered up about 10 feet away from me, and we're getting the decibel readings right now, and I'll show them to you. All right, so we got a pretty good baseline on the Inogen Rove 6, looking close to that like 41, 42 decibel range. Again, you will hear some clicking and discharges that will kind of get a spike in sound, but the overall decibel rating is right about that 41 to 42 decibel range. So now we're going to shut that one off. We'll power up the Vita-Ox HD7 and compare. All right, so now we got the Vita-Ox powered up, and we'll get you the decibel reading here. All right, so this one's right around the 37 to 38 resting decibels. And just to kind of help put in perspective, 1 decibel is rated at about 26% increase in volume. So each decibel is going to be a decent jump in sound. So when you're talking, 4 or 5 decibels between the two, that is a really significant change in the sound output of the devices. The Rove 6 is right around that 42, and again, this one's right around that 37 or 38 decibels. So there's about a 4 decibel rating in between both the Vita-Ox HD7 and the Inogen Rove 6. So quite a difference in sound quality. Now let's talk a little bit about the overall accessories and some of the stuff that comes with each one of these devices. So whether you're getting the Inogen Rove 6 or the Vita-Ox, both are going to come with the carry bag with the shoulder strap. You're going to get an AC power supply for the house, DC power supply for the car. Both of them are going to have batteries that are available for them as well. The main clinic supply Vita-Ox HD7 just doesn't have a standard battery. That is rated up to about 5 hours on a setting of 2. The Inogen Rove 6 has 2 different batteries available for it. So the 8-cell battery, that one is rated up to about 5 hours as well. They do also have a 16-cell battery. That one's rated up to about 8 to 9 hours. It does add over a pound of weight to the device, though. That's the biggest downfall. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's not necessarily ideal for a lot of our customers as well. The extra pound of weight on top of the already 4.8 pounds that the Rove 6 is, using it, that's going to be very strenuous and taxing on your shoulder for carrying it. So it does tend to get very heavy, even though 6 pounds doesn't feel that much. It over time, just carrying around, whether you're in the grocery store or going shopping, you're going to notice your shoulder getting tired. You're going to be changing it from shoulder to shoulder while you're shopping. So it is a pretty big weight change with that additional battery. One good thing about both these devices as well, they are both FAA approved, so both of them are approved to bring on board an airplane. The one thing that we've been getting pushed back a lot is with large batteries for the Inogen devices. A lot of the airlines nowadays, they're kind of being more stricklers on that big battery. So just make sure you consult with your specific airline before you take flight with them. The biggest thing with the Vita-Ox, we have the standard battery for it. So that is underneath the 100 watt hours recommended to be able to bring on board your airline. So you don't have to worry about getting stopped or getting rejected before you're about to board your aircraft. All right, now let's talk about warranty. The Inogen Rove 6 comes with a manufacturer 3-year warranty on the concentrator and 1-year warranty on accessories. So that's like your batteries, power cords, stuff like that. The main clinic supply Vita-Ox HD7, that's going to come with a manufacturer's 5-year warranty. So that's going to cover your device. The sieve beds are going to come with a 2-year warranty on them. So that's an additional 1 year on top of what the Inogen has. And then the accessories, so that's your battery, power cord as well, that's going to have a 1-year warranty. So the main clinic supply Vita-Ox HD7, that's 2 extra years of warranty on the device and 1 year extra warranty on the sieve bed. So that's going to be less cost to you as well. One other thing I want to point out to you is going to be the screens. I'll power up both these devices for you again so you can take a look at the menus and take a look at the screens. The Inogen Rove 6 is going to have a monochrome design to it, so just more of like a grayish colored tone to it, where our main clinic supply Vita-Ox HD7 is going to have a 2.8-inch color HD screen, makes everything super easy to read. And I'll show you both comparisons so you can see it for yourself. All right, so as you can see, the monochrome screen there is lit up. We have our plus and minus button. We have a bell button to silence some of the lower priority alerts, our power button, and then we do have a sound button so we can increase that alarm tone. All right, so here's the display on the main clinic supply Vita-Ox HD7. So you're gonna see we have our plus and minus button there, our power button. We have our setting button there that is able to access a little bit more information on the machine and the batteries. And then we also do have a sound button here to increase and decrease the sound. And if you notice here, you're gonna see, you can see your setting very clear. The battery percent as well is really nice. And then you also have your runtime down below. A little bit more on the performance of the device. So the Inogen Rove 6 utilizes a 2-piston compressor to operate the amount of oxygen that's flowing through it. So again, on a setting of 6, this one's rated up to about 1,260 milliliters. The main clinic supply Vita-Ox HD7 is going to be the first of its kind. It has a 4-piston compressor, which does many different things. Number one, it's going to make it quieter, as you could tell by the decibel readings that we had. Number two, it's going to make the machine be able to have a higher oxygen capability, which is why we're able to get that up to that 1,400 milliliters on that 7th setting. Number three is it's going to work less hard to produce that oxygen. So the RPMs in the Inogen for the compressor are going to be spinning a lot faster to produce that higher oxygen than what the Vita-Ox HD7 is, because of those additional 2 pistons for its compressor. So it can run a lot slower to produce more oxygen. All right, now let's talk about cost. Now you're going to be able to notice real quickly that marketing and ad placement for Inogen devices has its cost. The Inogen portable concentrators are well over $3,000, which you're going to find online. Where our main clinic supply Vita-Ox HD7 is going to be well underneath $1,000 of that. Based off of all the data points from both these concentrators, the main clinic supply Vita-Ox HD7 exceeds those of the Inogen Rove 6 concentrator. So you can notice, based off of just the marketing alone for this device, that is one of the reasons why it is well over the price of what you can get for the Vita-Ox HD7. The Vita-Ox HD7 maximizes your freedom and minimizes the cost to the patient. So this truly is going to be one of the best bang for the buck devices that you're going to be able to find out there on the market. As always, if you have any other questions in regards to any portable concentrator, please don't hesitate to contact us here at Main Clinic Supply.